Raphael, I don't think I'm particularly unique in that at many points in my life, I have a deep desire to know, is there meaning, is there purpose? Scientific training kind of pushes you in a very objective direction towards less meaning or less purpose, sometimes more. As a physicist, as a cosmologist, when you reflect on the meaning or purpose in relationship to the work that you do, what are the kind of thoughts that you have?
Well, I guess we respond to similar urges, whether we're sort of wondering about the purpose of our life or the meaning of everything, and some people will respond to that religiously, I suppose, and to me that would be very random. It seems to me like you're just making stuff up. And maybe you find it consoling, but it's hard for me to convince myself of things that we just tell ourselves to feel better. So we're placed on this planet. We can look around. We can try to discern some patterns in nature, and that's turned out to be an extremely productive and surprising thing to do. The things we've discovered are things we could have oftentimes never made up, like quantum mechanics. Nobody would have discovered that without doing some experiments. We've discovered that the universe apparently had a beginning. We know how long ago. We know that it's expanding. These to me are amazing insights. Of course, I will probably still die knowing almost nothing, but at least I know that the things that we're trying to understand have some grounding in experiment. You're talking to nature and it talks back to you, and that's sort of the thing that you're hoping for as a physicist.
And can you go further than that? I mean, some physicists do. They say that the more, Steven Weinberg famously, the more we know about the universe, the more pointless it seems. Others say the opposite. The more I see the universe, the more I believe in God. I mean, you're looking at the same set of facts and coming with two radically different approaches. Is physics then sort of a Rorschach test of what your internal being is and has really no relationship?
Well, I've noticed that there are, excellent scientists who are quite religious. I have no idea how they reconcile the idea of faith with being a scientist. They must compartmentalize very, very well, because we're not supposed to have faith in anything as scientists. On this question, I'm probably going to come down on Weinberg's side, except that he sounds like he had higher expectations to start with.
Yes, he did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't expect to find some great spiritual insight and God or something in the universe, but I find the laws that we can discover, the incredibly subtle way in which nature is put together, extraordinarily beautiful and exciting.
Doesn't it amaze you that in only a few centuries of science at all, and maybe less than 100 years of good physics and cosmology, we know so much about the origin of the universe and the potential end or eternities in the future? I mean, isn't that unbelievable? Doesn't that say something to you?
Well, to turn this around, it might say to me that we could be just as ignorant compared to what we will know 400 years from now as the people of the Middle Ages were compared to us.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, because I think today we really understand how the fusion of stars work. And we're not maybe we'll understand it better, maybe there's deeper theory, but we're not going to radically change it. We know how things really work.
I completely agree with you. So we know a lot more than we knew 400 years ago, but we don't know how close we are to knowing everything. We could discover a final theory and convince ourselves it's right in the next 10 years, or the process could be going on indefinitely, and we'll never come, we'll always discover that there's some deep new questions that we only are in possession of a tiny bit of truth about them, and there's this infinite sea in front of us still.
Yeah, but the fact that we know so much so quickly about the universe, I mean, doesn't that, when you sit back from it, doesn't that startle you?
That's why I'm in science. I think it's phenomenal how much we can learn by thinking carefully about what happens in nature, by looking at it through an analytic and quantitative eye.